basically that is it. And Unreal Engine is a tool which can help you get into this industry, know more about this industry. And for that, this first talk we are organizing, with one of the most influential people in terms of game development that I've met in the college. I started around 2 years back, and Anmol was the guy which we met. Like we had a group project. We started. हमने funding भी उठा ली थी, ठीक है? But the point was that at that point we did not have that level of skills. But right now Anmol in the whole college, तुम college ढूंढ लोगे, Unreal Engine के ऊपर जितना जानता है सबसे ज़्यादा वो Anmol है. And Anmol Bajpai, today I am presenting you to take a small mini workshop which will give you basics about Unreal Engine. So please put your hands together and welcome Anmol.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I feel really good that so much people have witnessed this. So I would like to start off by saying that I want this session to be interactive. You can stop me in between, you can raise your hands, and if you have any question, you can just interrupt me. I have no issues to answer any of your questions. So next slide please. So let me start off by introducing myself. I am Anmol Bajpai. I am a game developer. I have been working with Unreal Engine and Unity. So I have been working as a game developer since the past 1.5 years. I worked with a startup for the 5 months where I made hyper casual games, and that game is also going to release on Play Store, so you guys can download it and enjoy it. So, and also you can visit my website. It's anmolbajpai.com to know more about the work I do, and I've listed down all my projects. There's some interesting cool stuff over there. So yeah, next slide please. So this is going to be our agenda for today. Let me tell you. So the first thing, introduction to Unreal Engine. I think Vanshaj has done that pretty well. Then Unreal Engine showcase. So what do I mean by showcase? I'll show some stuff that is built on Unreal Engine. So the point of me delivering this talk and telling everybody that Unreal Engine में ये कर सकते हैं वो कर सकते हैं, that it's not just limited to Unreal Engine में कर सकते हैं. I want to show you what has already been done, so that you can get inspired कि yes, I can also do that one day if I have if I have that skill set. So that skill set is what we are trying to build over here. And then downloading and installing the engine, introduction to blueprints and editor overview. So I'll show you how to download the engine, how to install it, and introduction to blueprints and editor overview. What is this? So what is blueprints? I'll tell you. Blueprints are Unreal Engine's way of visual scripting. Does anyone know what visual scripting is? Anybody? Yeah.
Coding, but just not using any programming language and using the nodes to just code blocks.
Yeah. You're kind of right. So it's not using any programming language. Visual scripting, like blueprints in itself, is a programming language. So it is programming. It's not like you're just connecting nodes, so it's not programming. It is totally object oriented. You have everything that a normal programming language offers. You have it there in blueprints, but the added advantage is that you don't have to write code. You get these nodes in Unreal Engine and you can connect them. I'll show you more visually. I'm just giving an overview, but you can connect them and do stuff whatever you want in the game. So now next is environment building. So I'll show you how to build a simple environment, how to add a grassland and then add grass onto it. You can add trees to it and you can build upon it. I'll just show you how to do it, and then I would request everybody to after this session, maybe whenever you get time, you download Unreal Engine, you follow all these steps, and then you go home and build an environment and then send it to us. We'll really appreciate it. We'll even post it, publish it to the right ones. Yeah. So we'll even publish it that this is the work done by somebody who attended that workshop. So next is custom meta humans. This is a surprise. I don't want to reveal it right now. I'll tell it to you that peek into Envision. So Envision, what is Envision? It is a personal project that I am building. I have planned to release it on Steam. You guys know Steam? Steam is a platform where a lot of games, mostly all games which are of good budget and quality, are released. So I plan to release it on Steam by the end of this year. So it's a survival game. It's a survival game, and let's not talk about it right now. I'll tell it to you then. So next slide. So I think the introduction is done, but I'll still tell you what is Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine is a tool that you can use to do a lot of different things. It's basically what you would require to do if you want to do films, you want to do graphics. I mean, you can imagine what you want to do and you can do it inside of Unreal Engine. Next. So yeah, Unreal Engine is not just limited to games. You have all these different things. You have games are all obviously there, but you have films. There is a Netflix series that is being built with the help of Unreal Engine, and you can design automobiles, product design, manufacturing, flight simulation, and we are not just talking about a game like Microsoft released their flight simulator. We are not talking about that. We are talking about actual simulations being built upon Unreal Engine. So pretty cool stuff. And then architecture. We can also do architecture, make buildings. Like a lot of architects even use it along with AutoCAD and all of those stuff. Next slide. So I'm sure everyone, all of us, at least one of the games we have played out of all these. Do we all agree? So Fortnite, I think everybody has played Fortnite. Yeah. So and this Matrix Awakens, this is an Unreal Engine demo that is released on Unreal Engine, and you can download all these assets. It's 80 GB worth of assets, and even like my laptop, it could not handle it. So it was so heavy, but it's a very, very vast, very detailed. I'll show you screenshots from it. It's a very vast, detailed asset that Unreal Engine has provided for all of us to use in our environments. People have made Superman inside of this Matrix city. Somebody I saw made Batman. So pretty cool stuff. You can do anything you can imagine. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are some screenshots from the Matrix Awakens. This is the Unreal Engine demo. Can you see how detailed everything is? Like these car crashes, these are so real, so realistic that my mind was blown when I first watched it. It was released around, I think, when was it released, Vanchad? Matrix Awakens?
I think the last year, I guess.
Yes. So I watched it at that time and I was like, कि Unreal Engine 5 क्या चीज़ है? So next. So now we are going to watch a trailer of a game that is soon going to release. Anybody here has played Hellblade 1? Okay, it's a pretty famous game, but alright. So Hellblade 1 was a game, and then it's upcoming, Hellblade 2 is an upcoming game that is a sequel of Hellblade 1, and we are going to watch its trailer. So the point of me showing you the trailer is not to like just show you for entertainment purposes. I want you to get inspired. Like you can also build something like this. Can you see this? How realistic and how good this looks. This is a meta-human. I'll tell you what a meta-human is, but everything in this is built inside Unreal Engine 5. So let's play the trailer. Click. Start trailer. Volume full कर दो, full screen कर दो.
And she said, with our swords, we will forge new stories to strike the gods that haunt us. You
वॉल्यूम नहीं बढ़ सकती
इसके ऊपर ले जाना
नहीं है ओहो कहाँ से आएगा वो स्विच हो गया बाहर
Erase our suffering, soothe our scars of grief, and break their siege of our minds. You may see them as gods. We will
Can we turn off these lights as well?
show you what lies behind their eyes. To risk your own life for what you believe is your sacrifice to make. To lead others to death brings a different kind of burden. One that Senua would have to learn to bear.
हाँ बोल दूँगा
Look at the bones, that's going to be you. No one's ever killed a giant. What makes you think you can stay down?
Those whose eyes are clouded by fear are besieged by the ghosts that haunt them. Senua saw that to win the war we must break this siege. Break it with an unshakable truth. Break it with an impossible feat.
Get ready, it's about to start. Get ready. What you can do is perfectly to the other side of this. Yes!
Do you like it? So I want to know my audience. So how many of you would like to create something like this? Almost everyone. That's great. I'll clap for everyone. So all of this was built on Unreal Engine 5, and this was not just a regular rendered trailer that you take screenshots from the game or snippets from the game and put it inside a trailer. This is an actual gameplay trailer. Like, this was recorded during the gameplay. So it's quite realistic, and it's going to release soon. So it's great. Next. Okay, so how do we download Unreal Engine? You can just go to this site and download the Epic Games Launcher, and inside the Epic Games Launcher, any of us are familiar with any Epic Games Launcher, with the Epic Games Launcher? Yes, they give free games every week, right? So it's quite fun. Yes, so I have a lot of games in my library because, yeah, I'm sure everybody has those. So in the Epic Games Launcher, as like almost everyone has it already, so in this section here, you have this Unreal Engine tab dedicated for it, and you can click on it and install the desired engine of your choice, like the desired version. The latest one is 5.1 point something, I think, and there are others also like 4.27, and you can just choose your version and download it. Next. So I'll show everything, all of this live. I'll not just talk to you and like tell you कि ऐसे ऐसे कर लेना. I'll show you how to do it, but I'm just presenting these slides. Okay, so let me show it to you once, then we'll proceed. नहीं वो खोल दो यार कि वो दिख जाए, मेरी ये वाली स्क्रीन दिख जाए. यहाँ से ही मैं जो करूँ वो वहाँ डुप्लीकेट हो जाए. कीप चेंजेस बंद कर दो, मतलब मिनिमाइज कर दो. आ क्यों नहीं थी? ओके. I have opened the Epic Games Launcher. क्या हुआ है, हो क्यों नहीं रहा?
मैक्सिमाइज करना पड़ेगा इसको.
हैं?
मैक्सिमाइज करना पड़ेगा इसको.
ऐसा है? नहीं खुल रहा है.
अपडेट कर लो.
कुछ खुल क्यों नहीं रहा? नहीं, ये सर डिस्प्ले वो वाला हो गया. Yeah, so it's here. Okay, so this is the Epic Games Launcher. I have already downloaded Unreal Engine, so I have it in my system. So, but you will have to download it and install it. But I am just going to launch it from here. It takes some time to launch because it's quite a heavy software. You build such cool stuff with it, you cannot expect it to be really smooth. So in the meantime, do we have any questions till now? Yes. I think 4.26 would be good. 5.1 or 5 requires a graphic card. हाँ?
5.1 से previous generation available.
नहीं available होगा. I'll show it to you after the workshop. जिसको भी if anybody needs my help to install the engine, I'll help it on whatever system you have. So So okay, so we opened the project browser, and then you can navigate here to games, because I'm going to show you how to make a game. So I'll navigate over here. We'll start with a blank template, and then we'll name the project. What should I name the project? Whatever you say. Interactive, कुछ तो बोलो.
Interactive session.
Unreal Workshop.
Okay, Unreal Workshop. Unreal Workshop, MUJ, fine. Okay, not MUJ, Unreal Workshop. So, okay, these are some settings. You have to select Blueprint. You can also select C++, but I would recommend everybody to start with Blueprints, and then if you want, you can add C++ as well. Target platform should be desktop. You should disable ray tracing as of now. What ray tracing is it gives you ultra realistic lighting and all of that, and you should enable the starter content. So we'll click on create. So here we have our project open. Now the next slide is introduction to blueprints and editor overview. That is what I'm going to do right now. Okay. So I'll open Unreal Engine and I'll tell you what all of this stuff over here is. So let us start off with this portion. This is the viewport. This is a viewport. This is where all of the cool stuff happens. You add objects, whatever you are going to build, it's going to be presented over here. This is a viewport. This is the outliner. You have all of the objects that are present inside your game inside your viewport that you will put in the viewport. Is it visible when I'm standing? Okay. So all of the things that you put inside the viewport, you can select it from here. And so this is the outliner. Then details. You can select each and every object from the outliner and you can view its details, you can change its settings and all of that. So that happens in details. World settings. World settings are basically what you would need to change things in your world. For example, if you want to use a first person, you want to create a first person game, so you would want to change the game mode. So all of these things you can go inside the world settings. I'll show you how to do it. And then we have these modes. So in these modes you can click and you can see that there are different modes. All of these different modes are used for different things. So like landscape, I showed you in the slide in the content that we are going to view today. One of this is landscape. So we'll see how landscapes are made. And then foliage, how you can add foliage. Foliage is basically anything that you would want to add, like you could add grass and something like that. So the content drawer, can you click on the content drawer? So this is the content drawer. This is everything that is present inside the project that we created. So we created that project named Unreal Workshop. If you will go inside your files, you can see this project created and all of that content will be present over here. Now can anyone tell me what will be the difference between content browser and outliner?
Content browser consists of everything that you have, like all your assets, and the outliner only the objects that are currently present in the game.
Yes, absolutely right. Thank you. Nice. So okay, so I think output log. Output log is also there. So if you do something and if there is an error or anything, whatever you do in the game, everything will be displayed in the output log. And now let's get started. I have given the overview of the editor. Now we'll proceed further. Okay, so I'll go to the starter content. I'll just open one of the maps. This is a default map. Okay. Okay, so we have these chairs. All right, so how do you navigate through the viewport? I'll tell you this. So you click on the right mouse button and you can just slide, like you can just move your mouse to navigate through it, to view the different angles. Okay, and if you want to move the camera, like the navigation to like you wanted to move forward, you can navigate it through WASD. I am pressing W and it's going forward. I am pressing S and it's going backwards. And you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Sure. So yeah, that's basically how you do that. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to hit on play. Okay. So what happens with this play button? The game that you have currently made till now, it will be rendered. It will be played. Like you can view how the game is looking currently, like till the time you have built. And so we are going to click on play. Nothing happens. This is the default audio that is there. Nothing happens because we have not done anything in the game yet. Okay, we can navigate, we can see what all is in there, and we can move through the WASD. Now I'll do one thing. I'll select this chair. How do you select objects? You just click on them through the left mouse button. You just click on them, and then what do we have here? So we have an option to move it around. So details panel. Now here is when the details panel comes into play. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you go to the details panel. You can click on this lock button to scale it evenly, so that it gets scaled evenly through X, Y and Z axis. So that now when I change these values, if I change these values, it is scaling evenly. Okay, so I'll undo it. Now what we are going to do is, now we are going to use the move tool. I pressed W, and W say we can access the move tool. Now I am going to drag it upwards and then play the level. So if I play the level, do you think the chair will fall? Huh? How many people say yes? And no? Why will it not fall? Huh? Okay, so let's try. Okay. No, it did not fall. But if we want to make it fall, how do we do that? Let's find out. So we go into the details panel, and here is a search bar. Now we can go here and search. We put in, we want gravity. We want gravity to pull this chair down. Now we search gravity. Okay, so we have enable gravity already enabled, but we will go into this physics panel. Okay, physics panel is here. We have this enable gravity, we have the gravity enabled, but we did not tick the simulate physics box. So Unreal Engine, what it is doing is, it is not simulating the physics. Even though the gravity is on, you have deselected the simulate physics box. So it is not simulating the physics. Any sort of physics will not act upon this chair object. So now we'll enable this. Okay, and now when we play it, the chair falls. Okay. Okay. Okay, so next I'll show how to use blueprints. Okay, so we have blueprints over here. Okay, we'll add we have to add a content pack, and that we'll add a third person content pack. Okay. We have it here. Now what I will do is I will now go to the world settings. Okay, and I'll change the game mode to the third person game mode, because I just added the third person game mode and I want to enable it. So now when I launch the game, a third person character is launched and I can move it around using the WASD. Okay, Unreal has already built all of these things for us to experiment on. I can press spacebar to jump and all of that. Okay, now I'll show you how to add a trigger box. So what is a trigger box? Okay, you go over here. This is the panel where you can quickly add to the project. So these are these are things which you can add to your project. And now we go to basic and then trigger box. So we'll select trigger box. This is the trigger box over here. So all of us can see it, right? This is it. It was okay. So I'll place it over here and then I'll scale it up a bit because we want to cover the whole floor. So how do I scale it? I go to the details and then scale it on the y-axis. Okay, so we made it a bit bigger so that now what is my goal from adding this trigger box? I want an explosion to play and a sound to play when I go to this trigger box. Okay, now I'll play this level. Nothing will happen because I have not added any functionality to the trigger box. I have just added a trigger box, and trigger box will trigger anything that you would want inside when the player reaches that box. But how do we do that? We do that through blueprints. Now I'll open. So you click over here. Over here. Okay. So you click over here, and these are the list of different blueprints that you can create an empty blueprint class. You can create different types. You can access different types of blueprint classes that are already there in the game, and you can create an own new one. But what we are going to do now is we are going to open the level blueprint. Okay. So this is the level blueprint. Now what is the level blueprint? Level blueprint is basically whatever happens inside your level, you can code it over here using blueprints, and all of that will happen inside your level. The level blueprint has access to all of the objects that are present in your outliner. You can just select it. I'll show you how to do it. Okay. So now you can see that we have selected our trigger box over here. Now I go to the level blueprint and click on right click. Now I have all these different options to choose from. I can add AI to it, I can add alignment to it, I can add something with AR to it. But what we are going to do is right now we'll add an event for trigger box, because we want to trigger an event when the player collides with that trigger box. Okay, so we'll add an event, and in the drop down menu I select the collision one. Okay, and I will choose add on actor begin overlap. What is this event? So what this does is that whenever anything overlaps anything, or you can choose stuff over here with these nodes, whenever these things collide or overlap with the trigger box, it will trigger a certain thing that you would want it to. Now I'll click on this and drag it. So this is how you place a node. This is how you place a node inside of it, the blueprint, level blueprint. You click on it and drag it, and then when you drop it, we have all these options, and you can search in this and decide whatever node you want to add. So what I want is, I want an explosion to trigger when the player walks through this. So what I will do is, I will write spawn emitter at location. What is an emitter? Emitter spawns some assets that you already have these assets in the basic starter pack. So you can trigger these as any of them. So I'll go with explosion. This is the drop down. I hope everybody is getting what I'm saying. I go to the drop down and I click on explosion. Okay, and this will enable it. Now these are all these options. You can change the location of the emitter, you can change the rotation of the emitter, you can change the scale of the emitter, like how big you want to be you want the fire to be, what should be its location, sorry, the explosion. Okay. And okay, so and this is auto destroy. Do you want the explosion to destroy after to get destroyed after you get destroyed, in the sense, do you want it to disappear after this after the explosion is done or not? So we'll click it, we'll keep it enabled right now. Okay, so now I click on compile. Whatever you do inside the level blueprint, you can click on compile later, and all of that will bring it will bring it to life, like just how a basic compiler works in any programming language. And when we will save this asset. Now when I play the level and I go to this trigger box, can you see the explosion? Is it visible? It's visible, right? So every time I go through this, it's visible. I can increase its scale. So what I am going to do, I will increase the scale of it. I will make these values 5, 5 and 5. This will make the explosion bigger, and also what I am going to do is, I am going to add another node to it, and that is of the sound. Okay. Now what will happen is, both the sound and the emitter will play whenever I go through that place. Now you have to select which sort of sound you want. You go to this drop down, and I want an explosion sound to play, right? So I'll click on this explosion. Now I hit compile again and go to the level, click on play. Now this sound will play, and the explosion is much bigger. Every time I go through it, every time it triggers, this sound will play. So yeah, this is some pretty basic stuff. That is this is just the start of what blueprints can do. It's really cool. It can do almost anything you can imagine. Okay, so now we'll go to the PPT. What do we have next? We have environment building. You can create beautiful environments using Unreal Engine. And how do you do that? I'll show you. So first of all, you go to the selection mode and select landscape. Now this is the landscape mode. You can choose all these settings and you can select how you want your landscape to be. I will decrease this is the size, these are all the settings, and this is the material option. What material do you want your landscape to have? Like, you want it to be grassy, you want it to be cement, you want it to be whatever you want. You can choose it from here. Now I will decrease the selection size of it. I'll change it to 15 by 15 quads and then click on create. Now this is the landscape, and okay, now if I want to select anything when I make my landscape, I have to first switch my mode to selection mode because I want to select and make changes to it. What I'll do is I'll select it and bring it down a bit. and then I'll change its material. Okay, so you can scroll down over here and you see an option called landscape material. Now you click on it, and I want my landscape to have grass, so I'll just search grass and you get this material. This is part of the asset, starter assets, but you can import lot of different assets from Quixel Megascans. I'll tell you what Quixel Megascans is later, but we select this material. Okay, now we'll wait for it. Okay, so here it is, we have applied grass on our landscape. Now if we click on play, we have this landscape. We can jump on it and navigate through it, move to it. Okay, now I will show you how to modify this landscape. How do we do that? We go to the landscape tool first. This is a very plain land, but if you want to add realism to your games, you cannot add only this landscape and like expect everyone to have fun. You have to add some real elements to it. So in reality, landscapes, any sort of landscapes, forests or anything, all of those are uneven. So that is what we are going to do. We can make these uneven. Alright, so how do we do that? We use the sculpt tool. Now we just this is a manage, okay. So these are three tools: manage, sculpt and paint. So what the manage tool does is you can select or add landscapes to it and all of that, and what the sculpt tool does is you can modify it, like I'll show you. Okay, so I have selected the sculpt tool and the regular brush size is selected, and this is my brush. Can you see it, the brush over there? Okay, so when I click on my left mouse button, this is what happens. So you can make it, you can make it rise, and also you can flatten it. So I've created this sort of thing. So what I'll do is I'll just do some sculpting over here, and if you press shift and click on sculpt, click on the left mouse button, you can flatten it. Okay, so I'll just do some flattening. Okay, now what we'll do is we want to add grass to our landscape. We added a regular ground grass, but again for the sake of realism we want more grass to it. Now we select on this drop down menu and we select the foliage tool. What the foliage tool does is it can add any element that you select from over here. I'll show you how to do that. You can add any element that you select from over here, and then you can add it to your level and you can paint it. I'll tell you how. So now we go to this drop down menu, quickly add to project again, and then we select Quixel Bridge. This opens a new window. So Quixel Bridge is a very interesting and a very cool thing. What it does is it has ultra realistic and a lot of objects that are scanned through photogrammetry. So a lot of real objects inside this, and you can import it to your game. You can choose, you want a stone, you want grass, you want chair, you want furniture. You can choose all of that and import it to your game. So that's exactly what we are going to do. I'll search for grass. We want grass, so I'll search for grass. We have a lot of different options. So this is, I have already okay, this one. So if you click on an object, you will get an you'll get an option to download it. But I have already downloaded downloaded one asset, and I'll just import it to my project. So to import it to your project, you can just click on add. You can select the quality from over here. So when I click on add, here it shows me that it is present inside Megascans, inside surfaces, here inside my content browser. Now I'll go back to my level, and I have already have my foliage tool. I'll click on this drop down. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a material. I'm sorry. I want to add a plant, so I'll add this one. Now when I go to the content browser and click on foliage, I'll have all these different options. I can just click on one of them, and here we can select what kind of grass we want. So whatever grass we want, we can just click on the tick mark. I'll just tick a few of them, any random ones, and when I tick on them, I can then paint it. So when I go to my landscape, so when I go to my landscape, I can paint it by the same means. You can paint it over here by clicking the left mouse button. I can paint it however I want, wherever I want, and then, so can you see, it gets this grass. I'll play the level so it will be more beneficial, it will be more visible. And again I can use the shift, I can click on shift and then click on it, and all of that will disappear, and I can paint it again. Okay, so how do we edit the settings of these? You can make the density higher. So when I make the density, when I change the density, when I can change the brush size, how big of an area I want to cover, how much grass I want there, all of these things you can select from here. So I increase the density, now it's going to paint even more grass over here. Now I'll hit on play. So when I hit on play, the explosion also triggers, and we have this grass. All right, now I've shown you how to create an environment. So this is just the basics, because creating a beautiful environment, it's outside the scope of this presentation. You can go home and do it. I think we can all agree that we can attempt this at home. How many of you are confident that you can do it? That's awesome. That's really great. Awesome. Okay. So now we can, how do we package a project? So what's packaging a project? You made a game, but you want your friends to play it. You want the world to play it. How do you do that? It's very simple. You go to Unreal Engine again, click on platforms. You have all these different options to choose from. Whichever platform you want, you can choose. And so I'll package it for Windows. So when I click on Windows, I have an option to click on package project. So I'll click on it, and it asks me that where I want to package my build. So I'm going to, inside the same folder where my project is, I'm going to create a new folder called builds. This is a very good practice, as when you get into development, when you start the development, you will have a lot of builds and you won't be able to choose where you, so it's great to have that, have all the builds in one place. So you should have one folder for it. Okay, so I'll select this folder. Now it is starting the packaging. I can see the output log. It takes some time, so let's have some questions if anybody has any in the meantime. No questions? Okay.
If you could elaborate some more about materials.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'll just open a material, okay. Let me change the mode. I'll click on selection mode again. Now we go to the content, starter content. We have a folder for materials. Okay, so we have used, let me just confirm which material we have used over for this landscape. we have used this m underscore ground underscore grass. All right. So I'll open this material over here. We got, everybody got this, right? We opened the material from the content browser. Okay. So we have all of these different options. This is a pre-made material by Epic Games. So it has all of these different options and a lot of different things. But what it basically is that what sort of color and what sort of all of these options you want for the object that is attached to a material. I'll show a better example. I'll go back to it again. What I'll do is I'll add a cube. Okay, so we'll go to the get content, we'll add a shape, and then we'll add a cube over here. Okay, so this is a cube. Currently it is gray in color, it is plain color, but we want it to look as a different color. Okay, so now we have meta-humans. So what are meta-humans? Has anybody heard this term before? Okay, so can anybody tell me what a meta-human is?
It's an artificially created human that doesn't necessarily look like any human that already exists.
Yes, that's right, that's correct. So it's an artificially created human, yes, that's right, and it's a framework that from which you can create realistic looking human characters. That's what it is. So now the next slide. So this is the 3D scanned model of my friend who's standing right there, Arnav. Can you please come here? So this is Arnav, and this is the meta human of Arnav. So does it look similar? Yes. How many of us can say yes? Okay, so yeah.
I particularly don't like this, but okay.
So can you please play the video? So what I did is, can you go to the next slide? Next. Yeah, can you play this video? No. This, click on this and play the video. So this is Arnav's room, and this is me. I'm scanning his face is what I'm doing. So I'm using an app called Polycam for this. So what I did is I scanned his face, imported it inside Blender, and from Blender I imported it to Unreal Engine, like Blender, because I wanted to remove unnecessary meshes around his body. I just wanted the face. So this is how the scanning process looks like. You have to click a lot of photos. We took 251 photos of Arnav's face, and then it gave us a 3D model of Arnav. Now let's go back to the 3D model. The next slide. This, play this video. So this is Blender. Blender is a software where you can edit 3D models. This is how his face looks like inside Blender. This is the photogrammetric scan of Arnav's face. Okay. So back to this one. Okay, yeah, this one. So this is a comparison. As you can see, it looks quite similar to Arnav. It gave me a whole mesh of how Arnav's face is, and what I had to do was I just had to add this beard and change a bit of eyes. It's a very customizable thing. You can change a lot of things in it, and that is what MetaHuman is. And any of you any of you can create your own meta-human. At the end of the presentation, I'll even link a GitHub repository where you can go and you will find a link of the tutorial that I used to create this meta-human, and any of you can follow it. It's a bit advanced, but we'll get there. You have that link, you start learning Unreal and you'll get there. You will be able to scan this. It's not a very difficult thing. Anyone can do it with a little bit of understanding of the engine. So this is the project that I am working on. I told you about Envision. I'll open it. We have time, right? Vanshij? We have time, right? Alright, so I'll open my project inside Unreal Engine. I'll go to the Epic Games launcher again. This is my project. I'll open it. So you remember we created that environment. So that was just a 5-minute job, okay? But this is what 1 or 2 hours of work can give you. This. So you can create any sort of beautiful environment that you can imagine. So I'll show you what I've created in the game till now. It's pretty early. It's a very early build, but I'll still show it to you. I just wanted to show you because I wanted to show you how you can create, how an example of environment that I have created myself that you can also create. So I'll play it, and we play as Arnav. We can play as the custom meta human that we made, and I have what I've done is when we press E, that dog will follow us. All of this is done in blueprints. So when I press 4, it will sit down, and when I press E again, it will follow me. This is done using nav mesh. Now nav mesh is out of the scope of this presentation, but I'll provide all of the resources that you will need to learn all of these things, and you can even contact me after the session. So this is how the game currently looks. So yeah, this will be released by the end of this year. I would really appreciate if all of us will play it.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. So, thank you. So this is you can scan this QR code, and you'll get the link to that repository. Everyone should scan it, and I would also request you to star that repository. This repository contains content that you can, is it scannable, right? It's scannable? Okay. So this repository contains content, has content that you can use to get your journey started with Unreal Engine. Please star the repository as well. I request everybody to star the repository as well. And because I'll keep on updating it. I have just created it yesterday with the content I had till now, but I'll keep on updating it as I progress. As I find new cool stuff, I'll keep on adding it. Has everybody scanned it?
We'll send the link on the group too.
Yeah, we can do that. Anybody who wants to scan has not scanned? Okay, so we'll move forward. कर दो यार. So you can get in touch with me. You can visit my website and my LinkedIn. You can type anmolbajpai.com to get my website and my LinkedIn. You can search Anmol Bajpai and send a connection request. I would be happy to connect and even like see your work, what you are doing on Unreal in the future. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, some questions. Yeah. Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
So just take Q&A.
Sorry. Okay.
So anyone who has any questions
Yes.
regarding the whole presentation as a whole? The guys on stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask what will happen, like for example, if a third person character falls outside of the environment that we have created. Like
It-
if someone will not put the boundaries or something.
If you don't put the boundary, it will keep on falling endlessly. But what we do is, what you should do is, you should create a trigger box. Yes, you can. I just showed you how to create a trigger box, right? And you can create that trigger box at the ends of your boundary, and you can set that whatever you want. You can set it to, like, if the player goes beyond that boundary, you can make it die. You can make the player die. You can make the player not be able to jump from it. Whatever you want, you can do all of that through the blueprints. Nice question. That was a nice question. Anybody else has a question? Yes.
So I do understand that everybody uses Flipkart and Amazon for different reasons. Can you tell me why should one not develop on Unity and use Unreal Engine instead?
Yes, that's a nice question. So I have worked on Unity for more than 1 year. Okay, and I have shifted to Unreal Engine just because of the vast potential it has. I love Unity. I'll not say anything about that, but it's that I want to get into AAA stuff. What is AAA? All these games like GTA, like Watch Dogs, all of these games are AAA titles. I want to get into this game that I'm making. It's also sort of an indie game that is going towards the AAA side of things, and I wanted that. So that is why I've shifted to Unreal, and even like any of us can use Unreal Engine for these vast amount of things, like any of the different things that we saw in the presentation earlier. Any other question? Yeah, sure. Okay. Question? Yes.
What are the basic skills that are required to become a
A professional game developer, that depends on a lot of things. Like, for example, if you would want to work with hyper casual games are games like what is that, Flappy Bird. Yeah, so like Flappy Bird, just basic functionalities inside the game. So hyper casual games are usually made with Unity. It's not that Unreal cannot make them, but it's made with Unity. So mostly made with Unity. I also worked with Unity for 5 months. So that is what it is. And the different things are that you first have to choose an engine. Any engine that you're comfortable with. If you want to use Unreal Engine, you would want to learn blueprints. You would want to learn C++. You would want to learn graphics. You would want to learn 3D modeling. You would want to learn all of these different things that are required. And also, there are a lot of different job roles in the game industry. You can become an AI programmer. You can become a graphics programmer. You can become all sorts of different things. So you have to first learn the basics and then figure out your niche, and then learn everything you can possibly about that niche. Any other question?
Can we do 2D in Unity?
Yes. In Unity and Unreal both you can do 2D. Any other? Yes.
What's the difference between using blueprints or C++? Like,
Yeah, so both are programming languages. Okay, but the difference is that blueprints is visual scripting and C++. So what happens is when you use blueprints, all of the code that is happening, that written code is happening inside of Unreal Engine. It's just you are using that visual scripting. So the difference is basically that you C++ you have to write the code, and blueprints it is visual scripting. Yes. Any other? I think that's all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.